Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the review of Genso Rondo, one of the many spin-offs of the Touhou Project. For those 2 or 3 not knowing, Touhou is a series of vertical bullet hells starring anime girls. Touhou is originally the work of Zun, and the games, or their protagonists, proved so popular that these doujin games received a staggering number of fan games, ranging from RPGs to beat-em-ups, through strategy and puzzle games. Western audiences recently received the first officially translated Touhou game thanks to Playism, and in Japan, the doujin circle Cube Type ported Genso Rondo on the PS4 as a downloadable title. Cube Type used a game by G-Rev, Senko no Ronde, as a starting point. On a side note, Senko no Ronde was brought in the West by Ubisoft as Wartech Senko no Ronde on the X360. Gensou is not shy in acknowledging its forefather, citing it and G-Rev on the main screen and in the credits. Gensou no Rondo is a 1 vs 1 game, but instead of fireballs and projectiles being the occasional special move, here they are the norm. Which is more than fitting, considering that the main Touhou games are bullet hells, or danmaku. Characters fly around the stages, though movement is only bidimensional. Stages are circular and rather large, there is plenty of space to maneuver and take your or the chosen character's favorite engagement range. All characters have 1 main and 1 sub-weapon, plus a special attack that can only be used when there is enough charge, shown below in the health bar. The special attack can be used when there is little to no charge left, but that will induce a break status where you'll have to wait for a while before being able to use it again. The charge bar is also used for a defensive barrier to convert incoming enemy bullets into power-ups. The dash and guard buttons not only work as advertised, but also as modifiers for all attacks, giving all characters plenty of offensive options. Closing into the enemy will allow for a short, 3-hit combo that can be countered with the right button presses. Close-range attacks are a last-ditch resort, and are mostly used to push back opponents that get too close. Bombs, or better, spells, are the same as Senko no Ronde's boss mode. Triggering a spell will place the user on the upper portion of the screen, make her almost immobile, and greatly increase firepower. The opponent must defeat this mode or try to survive until the timer runs out. Final spells are triggered when the user is in extend mode, with only 1 hit left before defeat. Final spells work the same way as normal spells, but are more powerful. What Cube Type completely nailed with Genso Rondo are the weapons of all characters, or at least how they work. All characters have very distinct ways to attack, and battles center around fully exploiting your options. From Otsuho's slow but powerful fireballs to Remilia focused strikes, through Reimu's and Sanai's ability to lay traps, or Marisa's zoning abilities, variety is great, with all characters able to employ different tactics based on the player's style. There are a few attacks that are a bit too powerful, like Sanai's Snakes and Frogs combo, but overall the weapon system is great. On the flip side, only few characters have bullets specific to their themes, and too many just use plain circles for their attacks, causing a lot of confusion when the screen is filled with stray bullets. Bullet colors between opponents are too similar as well, and dodging is downright impossible in mirror matches just because you don't know which bullet is yours. Single bullets might not be particularly powerful, but losing a match by hitting a stray bullet you thought was yours is downright irritating. Character movement isn't as tight as it should have been, and it feels worse in comparison to Senko no Ronde. The game does feel floaty and unresponsive at first, more so than the original. The fact is that Genso Rondo is much more complex than it initially appears, and it might be easy to dismiss it. It surely doesn't reach Senkono Ronde in overall quality, but it's very, very close. Genso Rondo offers story, arcade, boss rush, local and online multiplayer modes. Characters' individual stories start and end with a simple yet well-done illustration, and all matches have interludes between them. There are no voices in Genso Rondo, which is surprising at first, considering that almost every doujin game has some sort of voice acting attached to it today, and makes the game feel rather hollow, as during matches all you hear are sound effects and BGMs. Matches in story mode are on the best of 2, with health, charge bar and spell count reset at every new opponent. In arcade mode, matches are single rounds, and health is only fully replenished every 2 matches. Due to this, arcade is more difficult than story mode, but it also drags less. Both modes are rather easy to complete though. They will offer a few hours of entertainment, but aren't particularly lengthy. Boss Rush is, as the name implies, a gauntlet of all characters in their spell form. Online multiplayer is ostensibly Genso Rondo's main mode, as facing a human opponent completely changes your perception of the game. Or better, it would, if there were enough players to fight against. In the various days spent playing online, there were at most a couple of players searching for an opponent, and often there were none available. The netcode performed great, and all matches ahead were lag-free and felt exactly like playing offline, but I doubt that the game has attracted many players and will be able to keep a serviceable fanbase willing to play online. Should it be able to, however, Genso Rondo is a game built to be played against fellow humans, and it's where the game is at its best. I don't know if the lack of opponents is due to me bringing Europe and the game being available on the Japanese PSN only, but I fear that the game just didn't get too much attention, or many players were put off by the game's mechanics. Genso Rondo is not for everyone. Its combat system is complex, though at first it can be perceived as basic and without too many nuances. The game comes alive in multiplayer, and unfortunately right now there isn't really a community. I hope you have enjoyed this review and you'll stick around for more. Briareos Kerensky, over and out. There is a second Touhou spin-off available on a Sony console, this time the Vita, called Tower of Desire. That's an RPG, and due to time constraints, I won't be covering that. Time constraints include 3 games I have to play and review: Stella Glow, New Atelier Orona and Natsuhiro High School, plus the games that will come out in the following weeks. Most of them will be simple reviews, and hopefully I will be able to cover everything, how late they might be.